And unfortunately, when they came back from Vietnam, they weren't treated the way they should have been treated. Yeah.
It's terrible.
Future, you have to help somebody else, right?
I definitely will.
I'm sure you will.
I will.
You've already done your part helping all of them.
Blocked my driveway. I just wanted to teach the guy a lesson, but I ended up catching a ticket. I've probably been better off going fishing.
You were like one day away from being sent to Vietnam. Anybody that was in the service, right, could have received orders to go to Vietnam. And you were in the service, you volunteered your time for the sake of the country, and to me, that means a great. We all live a rather comfortable life today. We have a volunteer Army and Navy, and I understand that. Oh, you don't have to stand at attention. He just wanted you to get close to the mic.
The Vietnam veteran comes to court for multiple violations, but tells the judge he doesn't want special consideration. He's got 2 red light violations and 2 school zone violations.
I didn't know I was doing this stuff, Your Honor.
Right.
Evidently, the Pleasant Valley Parkway ones is going to the
Sir,
VA.
We're going to look at the red lights, okay? We're going to look at them. The light's red.
The video for the second violation clearly showed that he went through the red light. He apparently also has 2 speeding tickets on Child Street. He explained that he had looked at that one and it was when he was taking his daughter to work. He also stated that he couldn't see how he was speeding though. He was going to the VA hospital and the judge asked if he was in the service.
Yeah, you're.
What branch of the service?
See my
No. What branch?
Your Honor.
Yeah. And where did you serve?
Vietnam.
How long were you in Vietnam?
66 to 68, Your Honor.
Judge Frank asserted that he has some sort of affinity towards people that served in Vietnam because of their service to the country and also because of the way they were treated when they came home. Normally, an offender would want a break, but this particular veteran told the court that he wasn't looking for anything special as far as his military service.
You didn't bring it up. I brought it up.
Okay.
And you are just like all of the other Vietnam veterans that I know. They're all real men. They're willing to take it on the chin.
The total fines are $270. The judge asked how much he could afford to pay. He requested that he'd like to pay according to a time frame as he was on a set income. He stated that he didn't know how much he could pay, but he has probably about $50 on him. The judge stated that he was going to charge him $25.
Your $25 payment is going to be paid by one of the many people who have sent in contributions to this court to be used in my discretion.
The judge stated that he doesn't have to pay the $25 and he dismissed the case and thanked him for his service. He absolutely deserved that break and also the respect. Despite the fact that he didn't have money, he was still willing to pay the fine. That was really humble of him. On to the next one. A veteran from Operation Desert Storm details the injuries he sustained while on active duty. Mr. Silva has 4 red light violations and 1 speeding violation.
The reason why I came here because I have to go get double knee surgery tomorrow. I just wanted to see if I can pay at the first of next month, so I have to go to 3 weeks rehab.
Let's see how much it is first, okay? Are you working?
No, I'm on disability from the military.
He was in the military for 14 years. He served during Desert Storm and got injured. He explained that he had an 85% connected disability, deaf in one of his ears, and he also stated that he lost a couple of toes and they had to reattach his fingers too. That's a lot of damage. I can't imagine the pain he must be going through.
I would have stayed in 30. I loved it.
What branch of the service were you in?
Marine.
Marine. Inspector Carrigan was in the Marine.
I think I seen your show one time and he mentioned he was in the military.
Judge Frank asked what was wrong with his knee. He explained that he has to get them replaced because back when he was in the service, they didn't really have knee pads, so his knees took a beating, and over the years, it just kept on getting worse. That's pretty sad. The judge stated that he was going to give him a strong admonition. He asked him to slow down as he has served with distinction without complaining.
Like the least we can do in this court is give you a break.
Thanks.
So I'm not going to put you on a payment plan. You know why I'm not going to put you on a payment plan?
No.
Because I'm not going to charge you.
Thanks.
Out of the judge's good heart, he decided that he was not going to allow it to go on his record. He also stated that he was going to reduce the fine from $440 to $200 and it would be paid for from the Philomena Fund.
You for your great attitude. You didn't come in with a chip on your shoulder.
Yes.
And I think the least we can do to honor you for your service to the country is give you a break. So
I appreciate it.
Judge Caprio is impressed by the positive attitude of a former drill sergeant, Mr. Lewis, who was charged with obstructing a driveway.
Earlier that day, before the ticket was issued, My next door neighbor who lives in 62, he calls me on the phone and says, Mike, can you move your car because you're parked in my parking space? I said, my car's parked in front of my house.
His neighbor appeared to have an overnight parking ticket, so it was understandable. He stated that he had tried to explain to him that where he wanted to park, which was his personal parking space, was in front of his house, but then his neighbor wasn't ready to listen. He then said he was going to park in his driveway.
But I told him, I said, Bob, you don't park in my driveway. What should I do? I said, if I blocked him in my driveway because he's parked there illegally, would I be wrong? Would I get told? Whatever. They said no. The most you can.
They had told him it was going to be an overnight ticket, but instead he was given a ticket for blocking his own driveway. It appeared that his neighbor didn't even have a driveway. He was borrowing his. That's some audacity right there.
I think it needs to be clarified to him. In other words, he parks in my house, in front of my house every day, all day. I don't say nothing because he got the parking permit. I really can't say nothing. I get that. But I don't want him to call me and tell me, I got to move so he can park in front of my house.
He brought in a hat indicating that he was a drill sergeant. He told the court that he was from the 101st Airborne Division and served in the 76th Infantry Division as a drill sergeant for 5 years and a communication specialist video teletype operator. The judge asked if he went to Fort Benning, Georgia, and he said he did.
And did you serve overseas at all?
Yeah, I went to Ryan Air Force Base. I was Okinawa, Japan, Seoul, Korea, and I was in Italy for like about 3 days.
Did you eat a lot of pasta when you were there?
Yes, I did. They got the best.
He asked him to put the hat on and be proud of his military service. Trust Judge Frank not to let it go like that. He asked him for a salute, too.
I don't care about the parking. You served in the service for 5 years. I'm dismissing the ticket.
I got 10 years, Your Honor.
10?
10 years, yes.
Well, you come back next time, I'll give you another ticket.
Okay.
We'll give you a double dose.
Yeah.
Anybody that serves in the military, to me, is very special.
We have to commend our veterans and also Judge Frank for being an understanding judge. We need more like him for the world to be a better place. On to our next case. This Vietnam vet expresses his dissatisfaction with the parking situation at the Providence VA Medical Center. He was charged with a parking violation on Regent Avenue in Providence.
I'd like to plead guilty with an explanation, sir.
All right, so now we know you were there.
Right.
All right.
All right. If Your Honor has ever been to the VA hospital, which I do several times a week, the parking is atrocious at best.
He explained that he had seen many others park on the sidewalk where he got the ticket with no consequences, so he figured the police were giving the veterans a break. He admitted he had parked illegally and was aware that that doesn't make it right. He further stated that he feels for other veterans as the fine is too hefty for a first-time offense in that area.
I feel that sign should be posted with the amount of the fine, which will hopefully deter people and veterans from parking there. I would like to thank Your Honor and the court for any leniency that may be administered to my fellow veterans and myself.
He had gone to the Veterans Hospital for treatment. He was in the Army, a Vietnam veteran, and he served in Vietnam for over a year. The judge explained that he's had other instances where veterans went to the VA for treatment, and many of these treatments were something that had to be done quickly, but they were unable to find parking spaces.
There's no other place for them to park except on Regent Avenue. And this is a case of me balancing the equities. I'm trying to balance, the enforcement policy of the city of Providence against the parking situation at not only any establishment, but the Veterans Hospital, which serves.
He explained that due to the fact that he served in Vietnam and considering the circumstances at the beginning of that war, and also the atrocities that the veterans had to endure during that period of time, he owed a particular debt of gratitude.
In disposing of this case, what I'm going to say to you, sir, is thank you for your service, and the matter is dismissed.
I want to thank you for years of service.
Veterans surely deserve the best treatment. That was all very well deserved. On to our next one. Will the service of a Vietnam-era veteran come into consideration as Judge Caprio renders his verdict?
Mr. Bowen, you have two charges. One is a red light violation, and the other is a speeding ticket.
I wasn't aware until this morning of the speeding.
All right.
I don't make a habit of doing these things. I don't know.
He's got a speeding violation in a school zone. He was going 2 miles over the limit, and it was 5:19 in the evening. Mr. Bolland explained that he was coming home from the VA. Judge Frank asked if he remembers the red light on North Main and Branch. He stated that he wasn't sure and maybe he did go through it, but it wasn't something he would make a habit of.
If I see a yellow, I might maybe take a shot at a yellow once in a while, but I don't do it often. So I'm guilty.
The judge showed him a video of what happened, and he clearly went through the red light. He immediately told the court that he wouldn't do it again, but, well, that's a song every offender sings. He had a hat with him that says Vietnam veteran. He explained that he had served during the Vietnam era and he was stationed in Germany.
Inspector Carrick is a former Marine.
Okay, my son put 20 years and he retired.
You were in the
I'm a
Army?
military type guy.
You were in the Army?
Air Force.
Air Force?
Air Police.
And you were in Germany. My brother served in Germany, too.
Considering the fact that he was in the service, Judge Frank believed he deserved a break on 2 miles over the limit. He then asked if Inspector Kerrigan also thought he deserved a break, and he replied saying he absolutely did. The inspector mentioned that the Air Force had great food in barracks, and it was quite different from the Army.
The Marines and the Air Force, but get out of here so I can get the rest of these people out, okay?
Is that it?
Get out. The case is dismissed.
This man and his family are all veterans. They seem to have gotten the ticket while they were taking their daughter, who's also a veteran, to the vet. He told the court that he takes her to the VA every week.
Where did you serve in the service?
Air Force.
You were in the Air Force. How many years?
2 years.
And you?
U.S. Army.
And where did you serve? Where?
6 years.
6 years.
Their daughter went overseas and she was in Bahrain for 3 years, a family dedicating their life to serve their country. That's amazing. And it's a very patriotic family.
Served 3 years. 1943, February, on my 17th birthday, I joined the Navy, and I didn't come back for 3 years. And the truth of the story is, I can tell you a little story. You got a few minutes.
He joined the Navy when he was 16 years old. He went up to Federal Hill, goes to church, got his birth certificate, and he forged it. He made himself 17 years old, and he went down to the recruiting station and he joined the Navy. Everything went fine until 2 weeks later when the policeman and the Navy came up wanting to arrest him because he'd forged his birth certificate. I gotta say, that's an amazing level of passion that he had to have done that in order to serve his country.
But I waited another year, and I left Mount Pleasant High School, and I went to the Navy. And I spent 3 years, 29 months in the Pacific. Every battle, I was in the Pacific.
Apart from being a judge, Judge Frank has done a lot of other things. During the Vietnam War, he was a teacher at Hope High School and he was attending night classes for law school. He'd drive to Boston at night to coach the wrestling team, and fortunately, according to him, one of his wrestlers was the nicest kid you'd ever meet.
His name was Andrew Jackson, just like the former president. He was a gentleman, he was a great kid. And immediately upon graduation, he enlisted and he went to Vietnam.
Right.
4 months later, he was dead.
It bothered him so much that veterans, particularly coming from Vietnam, were not given the respect that they deserved.
He served during combat. And went voluntarily, came back, put their lives aside, placed their life in danger, and did that for the love of this country. We can't do enough for them to repay them for their service to us.
Miss Colleen Rose was charged with speeding on Churchstone Avenue. She explained that she wasn't aware because she was at the VA. She'd taken her husband to the VA and she stated that when you turn right out of the driveway, there are no signs that give you a speed limit.
You served in Vietnam?
Yes, sir.
What year?
68 Tet Offensive.
You were in the Tet Offensive?
Yes, sir.
Judge Frank confirmed that there wasn't a sign and she was also 1 mile over what people are normally charged, but on the merit of the case, he decided to dismiss it. He also mentioned that even if the merits didn't justify it, he would have still dismissed it. That's really generous of him.
Mr. Ventura, you have a speeding ticket where you were observed speeding on camera. That was 1 mile over the limit, and we've been dismissing those. So that's going to be dismissed. Additionally, you have a red light violation on Pleasant Valley Parkway and Valley.
He was shown a video of that, and according to the video, there was a big sign indicating that there was no right turn on red, but he still made the turn. He explained that his son was the one driving and not him. He'd taken his son to the VA, and when they got there, they checked in and they both had an appointment, but it appeared that his son's appointment was at a different location.
It was a hearing, he had a hearing test. It wasn't at the VA hospital where they told us to go. It was down the street a little bit on near, I think it's on Chalkstone. I'm not sure where it is, sir.
But you were at the VA hospital.
I was at the VA hospital.
He told the court that he was in the service. He was a Vietnam vet, and he was in Vietnam from 71 to 73. He was also an E4, which was equivalent to a sergeant.